Welcome to Local Levo Charlotte's Google Hangout on Air. Tonight we will be discussing online networking and more specifically building your network using social media with Corri Smith. Corri is the owner of Black Wednesday Social Company, a boutique marketing company that helps share a brand's passion through a combination of social media, events, and PR services. She also co-hosts Love CLT, serves as a board member of Social Media Charlotte, and is the head of communications at Relish Carolina. Levo League is essentially your career co-pilot. Levo arms you with the tools to develop your talent, build connections with peers, mentors, and jobs, and stay inspired day in and day out as you grow and develop. We believe you can create a life that you're passionate about. Without further ado, here's Corri Smith.
Hey everybody, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to jump right in. All right, so we're talking about using social media to build your network. So let's talk about our agenda for tonight. We are talking about me. I'm the owner of Black Wednesday, as Caitlin so kindly introduced me. We are talking about online branding, what that is, how I did it on a personal level and also a professional level, and why it's important. We're talking about what platforms to use, how to choose one, how groups can help with branding and networking, and then we're going to focus on Twitter. I personally really love Twitter as a tool to network, online and offline. So we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can use Twitter to amplify your networking skills and to grow your network. We're also going to talk about a special offer that I am offering to you by participating in this webinar. And then we're going to do a Q&A that you can participate in. Cassie and Caitlin will have some industry and personal questions, and then you can also tweet in questions to hashtag #BWLevoCLT. My lovely friend Haley is monitoring my Twitter account. My Twitter account is @CorriASmith. At the bottom of every slide, you'll see all of our Twitter handles, and you will also be reminded of the hashtag. Again, you can tweet your questions, comments, concerns to hashtag #BWLevoCLT and hashtag #LocalLevosCOT. So we're going to get started. Why I'm here. My business is based on social media, events, and PR. But we're just going to talk about social media and how you can use it to network tonight. So I really believe that social media matters. Why does it matter? It's a great way of sharing your message, and it's awesome because you can connect and engage with people directly, and they can connect and engage with you. In order to optimize social media, you have to participate and you have to do it well. And when you look at your competitors in the market, they are most likely doing this. So it makes sense, whether you're doing it personally or professionally, to know what you're doing and to do it right. You can make awesome connections on social media that will build your personal network online, also offline, and this will in turn help you grow your professional network, and we'll get into this more. So what is your online brand? Your online brand is how you present yourself, but it's also how people perceive you online. So you can see here I've picked some images of people who have like ultra crazy online brands that are extremely definitive. And although you might have positive or negative connotations to these people, they've built solid online brands. So Snooki, obviously, Kim Kardashian, I don't know if you've heard of her or something. And then the Fat Jewish, which is one of my favorite accounts to follow. They've created these that have furthered their career through promotions or what have you. But they've basically created a brand online that you know and you understand. So they've matched up how they present themselves with how you perceive them. And that can work professionally and personally as well. Steps to develop your online. You want to focus on your skills, your personality, and uniqueness. That's number 1. You want to do different. You want to keep a channel message. to and your go-to platform. So if you don't really understand Twitter, that's totally fine. If you work in restaurants and that's your moneymaker, go with Instagram with images. So you pick. Okay. So you pick one. Sorry, 1 second. So you want to pick what your platform is, and then you want to promote to your people which platform they should follow you on. Also, you never want to stop learning. It's really important to learn what tools are working for you and what tools aren't. You want to see what your competitors are doing. You want to always pay attention to them, and you want to stay on a growing level. You also want to keep everything up to date. Regardless of if you just pick one channel, if you are present on other channels, you have to keep those other channels up to date, even if they aren't your favorite, even if that's not where people are following you, because different people will process information in different ways. So you want to I don't think you can be something to everyone. You can't be everything to everyone, but I do think it makes sense that if you sign up to a social media account, you want to keep that account up to date. It doesn't have to be every day, but you want to keep it relevant. And my number one rule for developing your online brand is to stay authentic. Human, that's the biggest thing. You know, it's okay to schedule posts, but you want to make sure that they're relevant to time and space. But overall, be human, be honest, and you're going to help and eventually get to your building your network. So here are some things. The company is called Black Wednesday Social Co. I have an edgy style, but super professional. I have strong relationship building skills and networking skills. So when I thought I need something that people will identify me with, so that when they hear Black Wednesday, it makes sense that it's my company without having my actual name in it. But I didn't want to have my name tied to the company just because I wasn't sure at the beginning what the direction of the company was going to go. Would it be an agency? Would I have more people? So I didn't want to have my name in it, but I wanted it to be representative of me. Why is this important? My personal brand came first. So I was basically taking my personal brand and turning it into a professional brand, which I would totally recommend. If you have a lot of followers on your personal account, it behooves you to build your professional account via that personal account. So if those accounts are linked and they overlap, that's what's going to make most sense for people to transition into following from your personal account to your professional account. So that's kind of why that's important in terms of taking your personal brand professional online. Which social media platforms should you use? There are 400 gazillion social media platforms. I don't know if you know that. That's how many. It's exact. Look it up. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Levo, of course, is the platform that we've used to connect tonight. LinkedIn, Pinterest, blogs, Snapchat, Periscope, Lab. There's all sorts of different ways, like I said, of sharing information and connecting with people. Facebook groups are great for online networking. Instagram, using hashtags are great for connecting with people. Twitter, we're going to get to that. That's the one that we're highlighting to use and optimize for online networking. Levo is a great way of connecting internationally with other professionals. So there's lots of platforms that you can use. Like I said, I would pick one and stick with it. How do you choose? Questions to consider you can see here. What industry are you in? Who are you talking to? What is your audience? What kind of information are you sharing? Where are your competitors? What are they doing? Where are they finding success? It would make sense for you to see that in order for you to engage and participate in that same market, because you might see the same success if you can do it well. Where is your audience? And what are your goals? What I like to think is that if you pick one platform to really excel at, pick your favorite. Pick the one that makes you excited and the one that you are most interested in and tell your followers to follow you there. And then once you grow that account and you have fellowship there, maybe you want to expand into Snapchat. And then maybe you want to expand into Blab, you know? But once you get a pretty good following on the one that you're really interested in, then you can grow and promote. So groups, there's so many different groups, and I've listed out some action items that you can take about engaging with you, like my meme. My meme is awesome. I love Willy Wonka. Also, Matt Belisai just put out an epic line about it today and included Willy Wonka, so check that out. Blogs, I would Google best blogs of 2015 to get an idea of what kind of blogs you need to be following. Of course, as we've talked about, one of the industries that I work in, so I might put in best social media blogs of 2015. You might be a lawyer and you might put in best legal blogs of 2015, or you are in public relations and you put best PR blogs of 2015. Facebook, find a group for your neighborhood. LinkedIn, follow your employer, or search for a business that you're really interested in. For example, I connected over LinkedIn with someone who worked at Pandora because I searched Pandora or people who work at Pandora, and it directly connected me with them. Twitter, like I said, we'll get to. Hashtags are a great way of look through the hashtags and connect with those people who have relevant interests. Meetup.com for meetups, taking that offline, which we'll also talk about. Levo, you can follow people, you can message people, you can share content, which is awesome. And then you can also do groups and circles on Google+. So Twitter specs. I've actually set something up for you because we're going to talk about online networking and using Twitter specifically. We've encouraged you to use the hashtag BWLevoCharlotte, CLT. So if you use that hashtag right now, I have it set up that you will be added to a list on Twitter. I live and die by Twitter lists. So what I would do if I were you right now listening to this, I would use the hashtag. Please check in with it, hashtag BWLevoCLT. Or right now, if you'd like to see how it works in action, you can go to my Twitter handle. It's at Corri A. Smith, CORRIA SMITH, and you can look at my lists, and once you use that hashtag, you'll be added to it, and I'll tell you how in a second. But it's a great way of engaging. So like, let's say you find a hashtag that you really like. We Love CLT is a great one for Charlotte. People are using it all over because there's a lot of love for the city that we're in Charlotte. So you could look that hashtag up, and you can set up lists for it and talk and connect with people online through Twitter based on the people who are using that hashtag and engage with them. So the way that I set that up is through the next bullet point we have here. It's called If This Then That. It's a logic term. It's an awesome app. You can set up all sorts of recipes, but that's basically how I set up that recipe so that when someone used that hashtag, it would create that list for me. You can create an obscene amount of lists through IFTTT, so I would download that app immediately after this webinar. Conversations. Look through hashtags and find out what people are talking about. Always, tweets are public knowledge, so if you find someone who's talking about something you want to relate to, get in the conversation, retweet it. You can now retweet and add a comment to it, which is really great. You can tag people in your tweets so that they can engage back with you. My favorite thing that my friend Andrew showed me how to do is to tag GIFs on Twitter, and that pretty much changed my whole life. So thank you, Andrew. You can download a GIF keyboard onto your phone, and it will change your life. But really with Twitter, I know a lot of people are intimidated by it. To be honest, I was extremely intimidated by it when I first started using it. But what you put in is what you'll get out, and so Twitter's pretty much my favorite right now. It's my favorite. So I would encourage you to use it, and what you put in, you will get out. So 3 ways to network on Twitter. Find social media influencers and start the conversation. Like I said, Twitter is public, so you can just tag onto a conversation whenever your little heart desires. One of my hashtags that I use for an event that I host with my friend Amy is hashtag InstaBeerUpCLT. That is a social media meetup that was born on social media, but it happens offline the last Thursday of every month. So if you just look up that hashtag, for example, if you're in Charlotte, if you're not, we can talk about national hashtags to tap into. But if you're in Charlotte and you want to look at that hashtag, look in there and you might find some social media influencers. So I would say just pay attention and find out who the people are in your area that are influencing and having an effect on the Twitter space. And just talk to them, hit them up. Number 2, use TweetDeck. Followerwonk.com also will give you some great recommendations. Also, there are some social media monitoring tools like Sprout Social, which is my go-to. That's my moneymaker for social media management. Hootsuite, HubSpot is great for content and just to find out what's going on. I really like TweetDeck. If you find a hashtag that you really like, you can add it to your TweetDeck, and that way anyone who tweets using that tweet, you can do it for BW Levo CLT tonight if you want, or local Levo CLT tonight, and it will show you everyone who's participating in that conversation, whether you follow them or not. So it's a great way of connecting with people, and it's as simple as saying, hey, Haley, you were, live tweeting for Corri. You use this hashtag. What's up? Let's grab a cup of coffee. It's just a great way of networking and a great way of having a kind of a common ground with someone on Twitter through those events and through those hashtags. So TweetDeck is something I definitely recommend. 3, take the conversation offline. Invite this person to a cup of coffee. Like I said, InstaBeerUpCLT is a meetup. Everyone has kind of learned that it's the last Thursday of every month. So it's really nice, whether you find out about it over social media or word of mouth. We are encouraging people to engage offline because that's really how you network. You can't sit behind a computer all day and you can't be out hitting the streets all day either. So it's really 50-50, and you can leverage your online conversation by having one that's offline. Here's my gift. It's from the new girl, obviously. So your offline real-life brand matters too. This is key. I really believe in authenticity. I said this when we were talking about personal and professional branding. It's super important that you are who you are, online and off. There have been some recent discoveries, for example, with Waking Life in Asheville, where they had an online brand that didn't match with their offline brand, and they're facing the consequences of that, negative consequences of that. So, your offline brand does matter. People still are human, and it's important to engage with them in real life as well as online. So what now? Things you can do to work on your online branding and your networking. Social media audit. Take a look at your accounts. I can help you with that. And just make sure everything's consistent. You can network via Levo, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I would encourage you to just test yourself and find 3 social media influencers and just reach out. Say, hey, get a conversation going, ask their opinion on something, invite them to a cup of coffee. Seek events via social media, and just do it. I mean, it's something that, social media is just an extension of yourself. So you can do it. You just have to talk to people. It's the same as talking to people in real life. It's just on your phone. I am offering a special offer. I can help you with your social media audit. I can help you with social media training sessions, and I will do a complimentary 20-minute consultation over the phone. If you have questions about anything we've talked about tonight, or just a question about how you can be better with online branding or networking, I'm here for you. So my email's there. If you want, you can sign up for my Blacklist, which is my email list through my website. That's the next slide. Keep in touch with me, and you can email me to set up any of those special offers. I will also send out all of the details of this presentation as far as the offers, the resources I've used, all of my favorite things and information that I've shared with you via my email list. So if you go to blackwednesday.social, you can drop your email in there. I have some really silly questions for you to answer, and I will email that out later this week. So that's me, and we are back. We're going to do a Q&A. It's going to be really fun.
Cool. Thanks, Corri. You definitely gave us some good tips and tricks. It sounds like you're loving some Twitter. I loved, just you talking about being authentic and really giving people a big picture perspective and knowing that, online networking can take you pretty far, but really making those connections offline and having a personal connection is pretty critical. So thanks for that. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into some questions just to learn a little bit more about who you are and what your day-to-day is like. So tell me a little bit about how you set your day up.
My day is really client-based. So I basically have a to-do list every week. It changes daily. But the way that my day is set up is based on the priorities of what's going on with my clients. So every day is changing. Every day lasts probably a little bit longer than it should. But really, in the industry that I'm in and with things changing all the time, I really just have to be on top of things and be really flexible.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I feel like as an entrepreneur, you really just have to, have those, set things that you need to get accomplished within the day and just be willing to be flexible and willing to also, block out specific time to get things done, right?
Yeah.
Cool. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, we talked a little bit about this offline, but what did you want to be when you were a little girl?
I actually thought I was going to be a Barbie, which is really ironic based on what I turned out to be. So I thought you could just grow up into a doll. I had no idea, but it didn't work out. So here I am.
I don't know. You're pretty beautiful, and you can get a little bit more authentic Barbies now. So I think you definitely could achieve. Yeah. Couple other questions. What inspired you to go into social media, events, and PR?
My interest was, so I had always worked full-time, and I just really liked helping small business, and I felt that working full-time didn't allow me to help as many people as I wanted to help. So by starting my own business, I was able to better help other businesses reach their goals. But really, social media was just kind of a skill set that I've learned and I've adapted to, and I've continued to learn, and just something I guess I was good at. But it's really the full package. So, there's a lot of companies out there who are going to say, I'll do your social media for $250 a month and you'll get this many posts, but they're not really reaching your audience. So the events and PR kind of make it a full circle. You have to have the public relations. You have to have the way of touching the media and getting them on your site. You have to have brand ambassadors. You have to host events where people can come and meet with you face to face. Like I said in the presentation, it's not just online. It's not just social media. That's not the only way you're going to reach your audience. So really, that's kind of why those are the three prongs of my business, is because those three things work hand in hand in order to serve the marketing needs of my clients.
So basically what you're saying is you definitely need to have an authentic voice online, but not to not be afraid to take it offline.
Agreed. Yes.
Cool. What moved you to start your own business? Kind of just what you were saying is helping business owners, or did you want the flexibility of being, the CEO?
Yeah, I definitely felt limited by being chained to a desk from 9 to 5 and having to count the minutes on my lunch hour and feeling like I wasn't able to really take advantage of the skill set that I had. And so I guess I kind of got to this point where I was just like, this structure is just not for me. Granted, I'm not saying that I don't want to work, because I work more hours now than I ever did, but it's on my own time, and it's doing all stuff that I'm super interested in and stuff that I love. So I probably work 15, 16, 17 hours a day, but it's on my terms. And so I guess that's kind of why I wanted to do my own thing, because I get to do it on my own terms, and I get to serve more people instead of just one business.
What has been the biggest challenge in your field and as a new business owner, and how did you get over that challenge?
Oh, I'll never get over that challenge. So working in social media, it's a 24-hour-a-day thing. You know, I am going to bed and people are still engaging with the brands that I'm working with. I'm waking up and they've already engaged with the brands I'm working with. So it's really a 24-hour thing. And so it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's just, you know, it's also part of the reason why I love it so much. So I think time management is the biggest challenge I face with being able to keep up in real life in terms of social media, keep up in real life in terms of PR, keep up in real life, keep up in, you know, this online life, but also like do my meetings. And so I think time management would be the biggest challenge, and that's something that I'll always have to manage. It's not something I'll ever overcome.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like so many, not only entrepreneurs, but just people in general, time management is tough. Like if you're a mom, or if you're a dog mom, or if you're involved in, you know, organizations outside of work, it's just, you know, the quality of life, work-life balance, just keeping things straight is just a difficult thing for people in general. So yeah, I feel your pain there. Don't forget to engage with us using hashtag BW Levo CLT. Feel free to send your questions over our way through Twitter, and we'll definitely get those out to Corri. I'm going to send it over to Cassie to ask some more industry-focused questions.
I want to pick your brain a little bit more and just ask you some tailored questions to the point on how you can use social, Twitter, in general, to really network and connect with others. So, how do you stay up to date with industry trends?
I have lists of people that I follow, and so I basically look through everything all day long. So people, I would say brands that I follow are pulling content from individual bloggers, people who work in my industry, people who are experts in the field. They're streamlining all of that information into their posts. And so it's really nice to follow people like Social Media Examiner, Contently, Social Media Daily, Today, Social Fresh, all that good stuff. They're providing excellent content, and they're letting you know, like, okay, Facebook made these changes, here they are. And so they're really streamlining the education and the learning curve for people like me, because I need those updates. So instead of having to go and find them myself, I know who to follow so that I can get those updates when they happen.
That's awesome. So what brand do you think is doing social really well?
I will say Bojangles, just because I've recently spoke on this for Time Warner Cable News. They did a really awesome social media campaign where they took over the Charlotte Douglas Airport at baggage claim, and they, instead of putting the suitcases out on the baggage claim, they put out huge boxes of Bojangles, and they had like a little note on them that said, like, take me home. And so that was really cool, because that's a locally run oriented, of course they're public, but a locally oriented business that has a home in Charlotte and in North Carolina. And that was a really rad campaign that they did. And so I think that that's really been a representation of people stepping up their game. You know, people were really excited. So what they also did was not only did they give that food away and they surprised people at the airport, they really awesome media production team in there with like hidden cameras and all around baggage claim. And they made a video and they turned that video around in a matter of hours and shared it on social within a day, you know, 2 days. So people who are, that's an example of a specific brand, but people who are just generating really cool, authentic, human-oriented content that people can be engaged with and interested in, companies that are using the human aspect to touch people, those are the people who are doing it best.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know, as a personal brand, how do we think outside of the box to do things like Bojangles and really get people's attention?
You just have to think. You have to think about what you're passionate about, what aligns with your brand, and also who you can collaborate with. So, you know, pull people in that can help facilitate what your thoughts are, because when you have 2 or more channels to share that information with, it's stronger than just one. So I would say think about what you're passionate about, get creative. You really do have to sit around and think about it. You have to spend time. I have to carve time out of my schedule every week, I should say, to just brainstorm. I mean, I'm literally just sitting there and like writing down stuff, like whatever comes to my mind. If I don't schedule that time, it just won't happen. So I would say thinking about it and also tapping in your connections and your network and who could you collaborate with to do something like on a different level. So that's what I would say.
Cassie, you all done over there?
Yeah, that's awesome. So are there any local activities that you like to do that you feel really inspired and help you come up with great personal brand ideas?
I would say, of course, I'm going to plug in Love CLT. I already mentioned that, but there is a monthly speaker series called We Love CLT. There's a lot of love for Charlotte, so there's a lot of Charlotte-based programs and campaigns that are happening right now because we're still in the process of building Charlotte's brand as a metropolitan city. Not a lot of people even know when I tell them I live in Charlotte that it's in North Carolina. So I would say that is one. I work with an agency called the Plaid Penguin, and they do a really cool thing. It's called the Igloo Food Fight, and that's also hashtag oriented, and they basically invite someone, whether it's a magazine or food writers or whoever, to come and they challenge them in like a cooking challenge because they're a food and drink beverage marketing consultancy company. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. So there's a lot of people doing cool things. I really like the hashtag CLT. So this is relevant in any city. Look for hashtags that are city-based. And also nationally based. So, you know, hashtag Los Angeles, hashtag MPLS for Minneapolis, hashtag Miami, stuff like that. So you can kind of look through, and it takes some time to figure out the good from the bad. But if you look through those hashtags and find what people are engaging with on there, you'll find some city platforms that you'll be able to engage with online as well as off.
Awesome. Thanks, Corri. We've got some questions from Twitter. Cleaner Solution LLC wants to know, is Google Plus still relevant for businesses? And can you name the top 3 ways to help our ranking on Google? Sounds like an SEO question.
Yeah, you might be better answering the SEO question than me, actually. You know, like I said in my presentation, I think it is important that if you're on a social channel, for example, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you are. If you're there, keep it active. Like I said, you don't have to overdo it on all of them. Pick your favorite and roll with it, but keep everything up to date so that way that no matter who's looking for you, if they see that you haven't posted on Google Plus in 3 years, they might think your business is dead. So, keeping everything active is important. I also know that Google Plus has some social signals, so I think that does help with your organic SEO, but Caitlin, you might actually be better with answering that SEO question.
I would say Google Plus is relevant to the point where any authentic content that you're publishing, you need to be posting that on Google Plus. Google, if you're using Google as a primary search engine tool, which most people use Google, so you should, that will rank higher just because Google owns it. So even though there's not as much engagement in terms of people commenting or people sharing through Google Plus, it can still help you come up in search engines from a different channel. So I would say that would be the relevance there. Naming the top 3 ways to help your Google ranking, I really think that social media is a tactic to drive traffic to your website. But ultimately, you need to be considering all of the other things that contribute to bringing traffic to your site. So blogging consistently and regularly, using best practices for search engine optimization both on your website and off of your website. So link building tactics, PR tactics, engaging with event sites like Meetup or Eventbrite, and then really just not only having ways for people to get to your site, but having ways for people to actually convert on your site and ultimately be able to lead nurture those contacts and close that business. So that's my recommendation for social media. We've got another question from Tara Ricks. She wants to know, how do you network when you are new in town and don't know anyone?
Oh, so using online networking, I think I'm going to go back to my response before about looking up those city hashtags. Looking up hashtag CLT. Now, CLT is special because when I reference CLT as a reference for other people, they're like, what's CLT? And I'm like, oh, I guess it's our airport code. I guess not a lot of people anywhere else use their airport code. So, using social media, I would probably say I would go back to Google and I would Google best, whatever your city is, blogs, or I would look up the hashtags on Instagram or Twitter for the city that you're in. Instagram is really awesome. They made a change recently where you can do a search for geotags, which is based on location. So that is new. It's one of the newer updates. So you can actually go to a search on Instagram and you can search, for example, the Whitewater Center, which is a huge adult playground that I love in Charlotte. So I can search that place and I can see everyone who's been there on Instagram and has tagged their photos there. So as far as using social media to kind of integrate yourself into the city, I would definitely look up hashtags and Google some blogs and some maybe networking events that are happening in your city. I know in Charlotte, a lot of the networking events are paid, so that might be kind of part of the process. Once you get out there and meet people, though, you'll start to find out where it works for you and where it doesn't, because some people really like meetup.com. Look up meetup.com. Those are paid as well a lot of the time. So, you might just have to spend $5 or $10 here or there, but once you get out there and put yourself out there, I think that you'll find success. And once you find that network that you want to be in, then you can stop using those sites really and just kind of network more organically.
I would add to that looking up variations of the city. So CLT might be something that you'll use. You might look up Charlotte, hashtag Charlotte, or hashtag Charlotte NC. Yep. I would also recommend looking in Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups for local events. Also levo.com/local-levo/Charlotte. We have tons and tons of free events coming up in October, so definitely check out the website there. I have a couple just inspirational questions that I'd like to ask you, Corri. What books are you reading right now, or podcasts are you listening to that are keeping you, on the up and up and keeping you inspired, and just something that you're enjoying?
I recently read Brains on Fire, which if you're marketing, read it. I mean, it's epic. It really is really great. Podcasts, my friend Christina Wilson actually recently started a local podcast to Charlotte. It's called The Morning Stir, and it's intended for women, but it's really just motivation. So it's first thing in the morning. You can listen to it while you get ready for work. It's really awesome. Jay Bear is great. My friend Yarby actually is a part of Social Fresh, which is a social media conference that happens every year. And so they're pushing out really great content, and they've got really great partners. So I like to follow what they're doing. And I am a board member on Social Media Charlotte. So they've got some great content coming out of there that's at SMCLT. So I had to plug them, obviously.
Will you, when you're done with this, or will your assistant tweet out some of that stuff just so that we can keep up on that?
Yeah.
How do you start or wind down your day?
Start with coffee.
From the Daily Press, maybe.
Love the Daily Press. The Daily Press is my jam. If you're in Charlotte, it is a sin that you have not been there yet. Their coffee is fantastic. Also, not just coffee. I love them both. They're fantastic. Middle of the day, coffee. End of the day, it just depends. I really like to read. So I'm going through the second reading of the Millennium series, which is by Steve Larson. It's a girl with a dragon tattoo. It's just really beautifully written. It's very, it's kind of like criminal, whatever, criminal minds. So I really like to read, and like I said, I learn a million things every day. So I'm looking through what's changed throughout the day in my industry and trying to learn a few things, and then I go to bed. I hang out with my dog, and then I go to bed.
What's your fun time look like?
What's that? No. My fun time looks like, my personal and my professional life really overlap very heavily. So my fun time is similar to my work time. I get to network, which is like awesome, and meet new people, which is really, I enjoy that. Unlike a lot of people who are just like, oh, new people, weird. I really actually enjoy that. So, but I love to travel. I love to read. I love to learn. I love hanging out with my friends. I have two beautiful nephews that I'm like obsessed with, and so I like to hang out with them. Pretty much it. Going to concerts. That's probably on the list too.
Cool. What is the best advice you've ever gotten from a mentor?
Probably that, what has Haley Cobb told me? It's probably my best advice. I don't know. I feel like I'm super, super, super fortunate to have amazing people and professionals in my life. So I honestly, when you ask me that question, there's so many things that I could say and so much wisdom that I am fortunate to have been bestowed.
What's the best one-liner you've ever gotten from a mentor?
Okay, well, this is a quote from my mother. I don't know who actually said it, but it's my mom. My mom is the best. It was, whatever you are, be a good one. And I don't know whoever said that quote. Someone, probably Maya Angelou, said it, or someone important. But, my mother gave me a card that said that when I first moved here, and that has stuck with me. And I think that translates online or offline, regardless of where you are.
I can definitely attest to the mom thing. I feel like my mom always has some good quips up her sleeve. What do you look for in a good beer?
Oh, beer. Let's see. What do I look for in a good beer? I look for a good conversation is what I look for in a good beer. I think that beer is a common ground for a lot of people. I'm really sorry to my gluten-free friends. Jen Malone, sorry. But
cider, that's close, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wine.
I think that it's really a great common ground spot for people to connect over. And so, you know, that is kind of an easy way for me to segue into a conversation with someone instead of just walking up to someone and saying, oh, what do you do? Like, that's so lame. You can say, like, what are you drinking? You know, so I think that my favorite thing about a beer, I really love a Goza, to be honest with you. It's a sour beer. It's amazing. But I really like the Noda Goza, and then the Sycamore Brewing. Those are both local to Charlotte breweries that have like baller Gozas. But I really like the conversation that comes with beer, you know, whether it's personal or professional. I think if you have a beer with someone and you enjoy it, then you can work with them. I don't know why. That's just
so even if you're not a drinker, an alcoholic beverage drinker, still being able to go and meet for a drink and have a good conversation, whether it's coffee, tea, or a good
and I think that I don't think you need to drink alcohol in order to engage. That's not what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of people who are gluten-free who can do the cider thing. There's a lot of people who don't drink at all. So that's not saying that you need to be able to drink beer in order to engage. You know, a lot of people are going to, there's a brewery in Charlotte called Lenny Boy, and they specialize in kombucha, which is non-alcoholic, but it's got a really great flavor. So, there are, you know, I just think, you know, it's not the alcohol that's bringing people together. It's kind of that common ground, that brewery space that just kind of brings people together for a conversation.
What's the best way to connect with you, Corri?
The best way to connect with me is at any of my social media handles. My personal is at Corri, Corria Smith. My business for Black Wednesday is at BW Social Co. And my email is Corri@blackwednesday.social. So whatever works for you is what works for me. So just, I would encourage people to connect across any platform.
Awesome. Well, we are a little over our time. Thanks for joining us tonight with Local Levo Charlotte. We look forward to connecting with you offline at our next event on October 13th. So check out our website, levo.com/locallevo/Charlotte, and you'll be able to get all the details. Have a great night, guys.